Hey guys, this is Daniel. I just wanted to make this video real quick to kind of discuss what we're going to be going through in this next video with the topic of atheism. Now, I know atheism is more of a sensitive topic, and I want you to know that I've met many people who are atheists. In fact, many of my friends are atheists, and I've had discussions with them, and that's where a lot of my material came for this next video. So I want you to understand that when we discuss who atheists are or why some people may choose to be atheists, it's not out of a hateful or spiteful kind of attitude when I explain this. This is more of, if atheism, this particular worldview, is true, then these are the implications of atheism and how it could affect the environment, how could it affect the world, how could it affect absolutely everything. So I just want to say that right before we go into this video. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
All right. Hi, Daniel. How you doing? First off, I want to point out how he says that the information or the arguments that he is going to be going through are the result of him talking to atheists about why they're atheists or why they don't believe in God. So keep that in mind while you're watching this video. I also want to touch on the fact that atheism is not a worldview. Atheism is just simply not believing in a God. For whatever reason, probably most atheists out there don't believe in a God because there's not enough evidence to suggest that a God exists. So therefore, they're unconvinced that a God exists. I know at least that's my position, so I can really only speak for why I'm not a theist or why I am an atheist. But he said that he's going to tell us how this worldview affects the environment, affects the world, just affects everything. So keep all these things in mind while we go through his video. Spoiler alert, I don't think that he actually understood anything that the atheists were telling him.
Hey guys, I'm Daniel Hill, and today we're going to be going further into why we believe in Christianity over every other worldview. So, with that, we're going to discuss atheism. Atheism is the disbelief or the lack of belief in the existence of God or gods. There are different forms of atheism. Some are naturalists, meaning that everything came into being through natural causes. Some are atheists, so that they can live however they want. A good example of this is from Frank Turek, who often goes to many college campuses, and he'll ask students, if you knew that Jesus was real and that he was the Lord of your life, would you choose to follow him? And quite often, he said that they will say no.
Well, yes, that's because the majority of atheists have read the Bible, and they know that the God of the Bible, including Jesus, are just really big dicks. So no, I would not follow and submit myself to Jesus if he were real, or God, Yahweh, the Abrahamic God. If that jackass were real, no, I definitely would not bow down and follow him. But as far as atheism goes, the only pertinent thing is whether or not I recognize his existence. If anybody were to be able to sufficiently prove that this Yahweh God actually existed, then I would acknowledge that he existed.
I'd definitely flip him a bird, call him a dick.
But I would at least acknowledge that he existed. This does not mean that I just want to live my life the way that I want to live it, or as most Christians see it, I just want to sin, therefore I'm an atheist. Because I wouldn't be an atheist at the point of me flipping God the bird and telling him to fuck off. I would definitely acknowledge his existence. So I would no longer be an atheist at that point. I would be a theist. I just wouldn't submit myself to God. Of course, all of this is assuming that your particular definition of God is the true definition. We could go into like the different definitions that exist between the denominations, because each denomination would have their own definition of God, essentially. So which one is correct? Is the Baptist version of God correct? Is the New Independent Fundamental Baptist version of God correct? Is the Presbyterian God correct? Technically, they're all the same God, but they all have different definitions, at least different enough to where you have to create a new denomination. The way I see it, you still have a long road ahead of you to even get to the point where I'm acknowledging whether or not God exists.
So, let's look at those 4 questions that we discussed earlier. Origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. And let's apply those to atheism. So, origin. If naturalism or atheism was true, then we are simply here by chance. Darwinianism or macroevolution. And life originated from a single-cell organism that eventually evolved over billions of years and created the world that we know today.
Okay, so I remember him bringing up the whole naturalist, atheists, and all this other stuff. From what I can tell, most people are naturalists until it comes to a point where they feel like God is needed to explain something. Every single thing that has happened in the past has eventually been explained through a natural process. So it's not irrational or illogical to assume that nature causes things to happen. We have yet to prove that a supernatural entity is required in order for anything in this reality to happen. Even in the cases where something miraculously happens, like someone miraculously heals or something like that, we do not have any supporting evidence to suggest that a supernatural God suspended the natural order of reality in order for that thing to happen. All of these miraculous events in the past have eventually been explained through natural means. And then he went on to shit talk evolution, which has literally nothing to do with atheism or whether or not a God exists. There are theistic evolutionists out there. So I don't understand why you're bringing up evolution other than the fact that you're listening to fucking Frank Turek, who often conflates evolution with the existence of God. It just seems like you're listening to all of the most generic and horrible apologists out there that have the worst arguments to believe in God.